This call is now. So once again, good morning to everyone. So I hope all of you can hear me, right? Let me know.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
Okay, good morning. So I believe other friends will be joining or not. Okay, some of you have joined. Okay. So after the last class, do you have any confusion, any doubt? Anyone? Seems no. Okay. So what we discussed in the last class, we have discussed basically about the chemical machining. Okay, there we have seen what is chemical machining, how it is performed. Okay, what are the different elements which are there in that particular setup and how the process is being carried out. Okay, later on we have also discussed about the what is undercutting. Then we have discussed about its factor and all, how it is important with respect to whenever you are going to build any product. Okay, so how the consideration of proper edge factor and the knowledge of undercut as well as the depth of cut, how it is important, those things already we have discussed. Okay, later on we have also discussed about like the use of proper maskant, okay, or the mask, how it should be utilized. Okay, what is the purpose of using it, and so and how basically from all the directions actually the chemical eats out the particular unmasked part. Okay, so all those things we have discussed, and we have seen how properly justifying that particular process. Okay, how by properly managing that particular process you can even go for 2.5D kind of structure. Okay, 3D is not possible, but 2.5D like step by step fashion, okay, or step etching kind of thing, it can be done. For that we know that the basically the etching rate is actually the etching is actually dependent on the time of, you can say, for how much time you have immersed that particular whatever is the metal, okay, workpiece metal in that particular chemical reagent part. Okay, so those things already we know. And regarding depending on what is that particular suppose process, how for how many parts you are going to carry out that particular process, etc. Okay, so the proper selection of maskant is very important. So for that we have seen how basically the chemical, some factors like the mainly six factor we have discussed, like the chemical resistance of that particular the mask material. Okay, like how the thick mask can be utilized for getting a high level of depth of cut, that is depth of edge. All those things we have discussed. Similarly, we have seen that some of the maskants will be like only useful for 2D kind of structures, or you can say the part configuration also is very important for that particular case. Some mask you will not be able to utilize in uh, uneven kind of surfaces. For that maybe some smooth surfaces, or you can say the flat surfaces will be required. So those can be another consideration of it. Similarly, how what is the resolution level, that is the quality of that particular part that you require. Okay, so based on that also you have to select that particular proper mask. Otherwise what will happen, so if you require suppose a high resolution, that is high resolution means suppose the sharpness of the edges, etc. Okay, so whenever we are talking about in terms of suppose all those things, okay, then we are talking about the high resolution, getting the high resolution of that. Okay, so in those cases that is also another important parameter. Similarly, cost, how easily you'll be later on will be able to remove the particular mass from that final product. So those are some of the criteria that we have already discussed, right? So similarly, like what is the, if we are talking about that particular chemical machining, already we know that chemical is of utmost importance. Selection of the right type of reagent is utmost important. So in that case, once again, depending on what is the workpiece that you are going to machine. Okay, so for that there will be a justified like you can say justified or preferred kind of etchant that will be there. So that etchant you should be able to properly select. Otherwise, like arbitrarily for any kind of material you cannot go for any kind of etchant. Okay, even though there are so many agents available, so you have to select or you have to judicially select it. Okay, later on we have also seen some advantage, limitation, etc. And those two are the main things we have discussed. So today we'll be going to discuss about another variant of, you can say, chemical machining, that is photochemical machining. Okay, so as already we have discussed, so it's a kind of different version of chemical machining itself. But right now, some that whatever is the mask and etc. that we are talking about previously, okay, you'll see that somehow some photographic skill as well as some exposure to light. Okay, so those kind of thing will be uh, those kind of thing will be here. Okay, that's why actually the name of this particular machining is photochemical machining. In short, we call it as PCM. Okay. Also, sometimes this uh, photochemical machining itself is sometimes called as photochemical blanking. Okay, so up to the previous class or up to whatever we have discussed till now, okay, if you have any doubt, you can still ask me. I'll be happy to answer those queries, and after that, we'll start with this PCM. Or if you have understood the things, let me know. Hello.
Sir,
Yes.
sir,
Yes.
sir, I didn't understand what is itching.
What is etching means? Etching is nothing but this chemical machining is nothing but suppose whatever is the metal is being removed now. Okay, that is in terms of chemical machining, photochemical machining, etc. We call it as etching. Actually, it's like something like as if from that surfaces we are removing the metal. That itself is etching.
Okay, sir.
Removal of, you can in layman's term you can consider like removal of material in case of chemical machining or that kind of chemical setup. That is nothing but etching process. Okay, this material removal is nothing but etching. That's why we use the word depth of etch. That means how much material has been removed or etched out. Okay. Itching, you in
Okay, sir.
normal case, you know na, itching, like suppose some mosquito bites you, suppose you that portion becomes like itchy. Okay, you itch it, right? You do some scrubbing kind of thing, right? Okay, some portion is actually what happens if you think, suppose you are using a scrubber, suppose on your surface, on your whatever is the skin that you have. Okay, if you vigorously do it, what will happen? Some portion of your uh, very like the exposed layer of your skin, that will get, you can say, damaged, or it will be removed, right? Yes
Yes,
or
sir.
no? Okay, so similar kind of thing is happening here. Now have you understood?
Understood, sir.
Okay, others
Yes, sir.
having any question? Okay, anyone else? Okay, seems no. Okay, so now we'll be going for another process that is known as the photochemical machining, also sometimes called as photochemical milling. Okay, in short, PCM, photochemical machining or photochemical. Okay, so now once again what will happen, it's another variation of chemical machining only, or chemical milling only. Now, and what happens here, the chemically resistant kind of mask is applied to the workpiece by some photographic technique. That's why ultimately the name is kind of photochemical milling, that is there. Okay, and it is somewhat similar to whatever we have already used, we have discussed about in chemical milling. So here also what will happen, some chemical dissolution action will be there. Okay, and the total whatever is the chemical dissolution that will happen in case of previously whatever we have discussed, that is chemical milling or chemical machining, as well as in our photochemical machining. Okay, that is similar, but the application of mask and the production of whatever is the mask in and its curing process, that is somewhat different. Okay, so now what happens generally in case of our PCM? Okay, that is chemical machining. Okay, it is generally used to three-dimensional parts which are previously formed by some another manufacturing process. Like it may be like forging process, casting, other casting process, etc., etc. Okay. Now here in the case of photochemical machining, as we are saying, is there will be certain photographic technique that will be available, basically with respect to the mask and all. Okay, and that we are going to discuss now. So if we discuss about the photochemical machining, so hello, I believe I'm audible. Okay, so now initially, okay, so initially there will be like the first step is the preparation of the workpiece. That means on which work material you are going to work on. Okay, and as we are saying that some once again here we have to use some mask and all. Okay, so once again, first thing is like preparation of the workpiece will be very important. You cannot like on a dirty workpiece and all, it will not be suitable for doing that PCM process. Okay, so for that what happens, sometimes we have to go for cleaning, and ultimately after cleaning, whatever is the process of cleaning, we have to dry it also. Okay, that is the main thing. So for that what we can do sometimes, like some solvent cleaning we can go for. Okay, and there, depending on what is the level of contamination that was there previously on that particular workpiece, etc., so you might have to go for water rinsing of this particular whatever is the workpiece. Sometimes you might have to scrub it, okay, and water rinse it again, or after that, whatever is the way you prepare the workpiece, initially you clean it, and whatever is the rinsing, scrubbing, etc., whatever you do, after that you have to dry it. Okay, so let's consider after here, after cleaning and drying and etc. Okay, so suppose this first step of preparation of the workpiece is over. Okay, so it has to be dried properly, because in the later stage what we are going to do, if you can see, okay, after initial preparation of the workpiece for doing the PCM process, actually we are going to apply certain photoresist to it. Okay, so photoresist, these are nothing but some kind of, you can say, in normal, if you recall the, if you have seen previous old generation cameras, etc., okay, there we have got those negative, okay, and that negative is developed by like rinsing, immersing it into certain developer and all. Okay, some of you might be knowing that thing. Okay, right now here also we apply certain photoresist. This photoresist are nothing but certain light sensitive kind of chemical. Okay, so now what we'll have, we'll do that next process that will follow in PCM is application of photoresist onto the workpiece. Okay, so now what we'll do, we'll apply photoresist on that workpiece, and we'll be we'll let it dry. Okay, we'll be doing the curing process of it. Okay, and in the meantime what will follow is the preparation of the master for the whatever is the mask that we are going to use. Okay, so master is something like, suppose it is kind of the initial kind of like mask material. Okay, not the exactly mask material, it is whatever is the design you can consider. Okay, and from there, from that master we can get multiple copies of that particular whatever is the whatever is the, you can say, that proper design of mask that we want. Okay, so we are going to produce the master of it, and this particular master, okay, that we are going to use in case of PCM, ultimately it will be we are going to make it certain kind of tool. Okay, that tool is nothing but kind of a artwork kind of thing. Okay, and that will be called in our case in PCM, that will be called as the photo tool. Now what we will do, depending on whatever is the type of whatever is the design that you require, as per that you are going to prepare the artwork. Okay, and if it is a very small kind of design, you can go for oversized design of it. Okay, so in certain ratio you can produce it, and after that photographically it can be reduced or enlarged depending on whatever is your final required output. Okay, so from there it can be reduced to photographically, that artwork can be reduced or sometimes enlarged also if required. Okay, but generally for smaller whatever is the geometry, we make it in a enlarged form. After that we reduce it. That is easier process. Okay, so and after that what we'll do, we are going to produce, as there will be so many suppose products that will be required, there will be multiple work pieces. Okay, from there suppose we require similar kind of multiple products. Okay, so for that, for each and every the workpiece will be requiring certain mask. Okay, so for that, from there multiple image masters will produce. Okay, so that will do. Now, hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, okay. So now already the whatever is the prepared workpiece was there. Okay, it has already been. We have already applied the photoresist to it. Okay, we have cured it. Okay, there is certain generally some hot chamber is generally there where we actually cure it. Okay, we let it kind of dry. Whatever is the photoresist that we apply now. Okay, we'll let it dry there. Okay, after that we have produced that in or maybe in the parallelly we can produce that whatever is the photographic master photographic tool that you can use, and we'll apply it on that particular workpiece. Now after that what will happen, okay, so whatever is the cured it was there now. Okay, and whatever master we have produced, now we are going to use UV light generally to develop that particular whatever is the photo workpiece that we have already applied photoresist on. Okay, so we are going to use that particular master on it, and we are going to expose the workpiece between two masters. And this is the step where actually their workpiece exposure, development, and ultimately the etching and final treatment we are going to do in this particular phase. Okay, exposure to what? Workpiece exposure to generally UV ultraviolet. Okay, so now whatever this photoresist that we have applied, actually they are sensitive to ultraviolet violet light, and using that, so we are going to expose the workpiece between two masters. Okay, the masters are what? Like the photographic tools. Okay, whatever is the kind of image that is required to reproduce, that way. And after that, what will happen? It will be developed. Okay, UV exposure will be there. It will get developed, and sometimes once again in a hot chamber or in a dryer, we let it dry, or sometimes up to a certain level we heat, so that the whatever is the photoresist that was there, it will get properly developed, it will get toughened. Okay, after that, what will happen? This particular whatever is the workpiece that has been cured and developed. Okay, now we are going to do the normal etching process, whatever is the previously we have discussed now. Okay, in chemical machine, that way we are going to do the etching. Okay, and after that, if whatever is the record from the record portion which was exposed, okay, from there the material will be removed, and ultimately what will remain? The proper removal of the resist from the previous whatever is the workpiece material, that part will be there. Okay, we'll be now removing the resist from it, and we are going to get the finished product. Okay, so this is the flow chart of PCM photochemical machining. How it is basically different from the normal chemical machining. Here, some light sensitive photoresist we are going to apply, and we are going to use some photographic techniques to develop the master. Okay, so and after that, that particular master will use as a kind of mask for it. Okay, and in between it, whatever is the workpiece that we have already developed, okay, photoresist wherever we have already applied, that will be given UV exposure. UV will wherever UV gets exposed at that portion, it will be kind of, you can say, very hard. Okay, and after that, what will happen? So we are going for the etching process. After etching, just like in the normal case, we are going to clean it. Okay, and whatever and resist etc. We will clean it, and we are going to get the final. So right now, here in this particular figure, this being shown, first we are going to sketch the desired part. Okay, whatever, suppose this kind of design, whatever is the type of design that you require, okay, that way you are going to design. Okay, and like from there, generally we go for, we in the plastic sheets we generally produce that particular, prepare that particular artwork. Okay, depending on whatever is the number of workpieces that you want to machine. Okay, so that it will be dependent on that, and generally we produce more than the required amount, because in between sometimes what happens, as these are kind of some photographic tools only. Okay, some plastic artwork kind of thing, as if in a plastic paper you are going to print the whatever is the shape. It is something like that. Okay, and from there we have already said, okay, so that particular plastic artwork, okay, by using photography technique, whatever is the actual size, required actual size, okay, as per the scale, okay, we are going to do. And after that, this is the spray coating, or any kind of photoresist or photopolymer. Okay, either you can do by spraying, or sometimes even by brushing also, sometimes just dipping it inside the chemical bath also, that way also we can have that particular layer of the photoresist. Okay, and after that, what will happen, that particular whatever is this particular tool that we have, okay, that we are going to put on this particular cured workpiece, and we are going to give it UV exposure. This is the UV line. Okay, and now through whatever is the, you can say, whatever from the portions wherever it will UV will pass. Okay, so ultimately those portions will get done. Okay, and after that we'll be using a developer to develop it, and we'll be going for the etching. Okay, and after that, whatever is the, we are going to get that particular chemical dissolution will happen, and we are going to get that particular part, and from that particular part we are going to remove whatever is the photoresist polymer layer that was there, and that will, we are going to get the final part. Okay, so is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now in our case, actually we are going to use the word like negative. Okay, negative means just like in the previous case in your older generation cameras, etc. We use the word negative, right? So here also, if you can see, initially we'll be having clean metal. Okay, and as we do the coating of the coating that particular material with photoresist. Okay, so now suppose whatever is the exposed area both side, if you directly dip it, so suppose this is nothing but a photoresist coating that will be there. Okay, and now over onto it, whatever is the photographic negative, ultimately that is the photo tool that we are talking about. Okay, whatever is there, depending on if in both the side, if we require suppose either to erode away or to whether you depending whether you want to erode from both the side or not, depending on that you are going to use that photographic negative on both the side or on same okay, or on a single side, depending on from which side you want to have the material removal. Okay, and after that we'll be exposing it to UV light. Okay, now what will happen? Okay, so now this negative will be exposed to UV. Okay, after that we'll be going for resist development and partial removal. Here some partially wherever from wherever side actually the this portions it got toughened actually after the exposure to UV, so it will remain. So other portions from where actually it has not got toughened, okay, those portion will be as if it is unmasked. Okay, so rest is similar. So after that partial etching will happen. So wherever this is the toughened portion of the photoresist, so they will remain. They will act like the mask. Okay, the remaining portion from here will be etching will be done. And depending on for how long you keep it inside the chemical bath, either you can go for partial etching or you can go for fully etching. And during if it is fully etched, it is definitely going to get separated. Okay, so this is how this generally perform. So now I'm going to just show you some Excel thing that has been performed. Uh, what is the like capability of it? So I'm showing you some of the work that I have conducted during my MTech using this PCM. Okay, so you'll see some microscopic like micropressure also is possible by using PCM. Okay, so these are with respect to iridium and all those things we'll discuss later. Okay, so now let me show you from PCM. Okay, so some like for different purposes actually you can use this PCM process, particularly imaging process in the generally in the like uh, in the industries like where uh, like semiconductor industries and all, this PCM process is very much utilized. Okay, the circuit making industries and all. Okay, so now here in this particular case, as I have said, okay, this is the case. Actually, you can see. Okay, so what is being done? Suppose a photo, whatever is the this kind of photo tool will be made. Okay, it is just you can say as if on the photographic paper, it is a kind of only uh, as if a printing only. That printing itself is nothing but it will act like the photo. And we have suppose the cleaned workpiece. And now what I have to do? Okay, so next we are going for photoresist coating on that workpiece. Okay, so now the photoresist will be next. There is a process known as the pre-baking, that is we are going to curing. Okay, that photoresist whatever we have applied, we're going to cure it. It is actually known as the curing sample. Okay, we cure the photoresist here. After that, this particular photo tool, I will keep it onto the whatever is the workpiece that is there. Okay, it has already been cured. Photoresist has been applied and cured. Okay, and we'll the there will be UV exposure element will be there, and we will make it exposed to UV. Okay, after that, the resist will be developed and partial removal will be there. Okay, so what will happen depending on from C, if in this particular case from this Y kind of section actually light can pass through, from the other section light will not pass, right? That means now from where the light has actually passed, that portion will get hardened. okay, and the other portion from the other person when we'll be using giving it the but in the developer but okay, so some partial removal of that particular resist will happen. So wherever person from wherever person actually we have entered, that person gets taken, so it will remain. Okay, so after that we'll go for partial etching of it. So under the etchant we'll be giving the etchant bar. So what will happen, this y kind of structure was previously, you can say it is toughened, right? This portion is toughened. Okay. Now the chemical cannot attack here, but chemical can attack from this side and on. And later on, after that, what will happen? This way, this portion, this Y-like structure, it will remain. From the other portion, the material will be worn out. Okay, material will be each other. And after that, we have just to clean the product, and that is the final product that we will receive. Okay. So these are some of the uh, things that I have made. So you can see it has been compared with respect to the coin. So how small these elements that we have generated, you can see. And this portion, that black portion, this is nothing but the photo tool. Okay, there are different cases. So, this is on paper only. Okay, so from this portion, what will happen when we will be doing the ETA and all those things? Okay, developing the thing. So this is the photo tool that I have applied on this particular workpiece. Okay, the rest of the remaining of the whatever is the steps like basic using, curing, developing, etc. All those things will process. Okay, all those things will happen, and after that, after doing the etching, so this rate will remain. From the other person, as you can see, this portion has been cut. Okay, so this is how it has been done. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Similarly, this is the process that question, same thing, application in uh, aluminum, copper, zinc, steel, everywhere. Okay, very uh, different materials. Okay, can be utilized. Similar is the thing. Whatever we have already discussed, it's the similar thing that we discussed here also. And some of the other figures you can see PCM products, some very intrinsic details that can be obtained. Similar is the case like chemical machining. Here also the force, that is the force from the tool, that is not there. So delicate workpiece can be worked on. Okay, so it is if you think of this cost, and generally it is relatively low cost per unit area. Okay, similarly complex design can be worked on. Okay, then early lead time is small compared to other process. Okay, so hard tooling, etc., these things are not required. So very intrinsic details can be obtained. So these are some of the advantages. So here some sample of PCM machine patterns has been shown. So different patterns depending on whatever is the master and the photo tool that you print. Okay, depending on that it will be there. But one process, something sometimes if you don't print, the printing quality of the photo tool should be good. Otherwise what may happen from the side, okay, side leaking may occur, and some problems might occur during, if the it is not properly developed. So in the process of developing it, some process material. Okay, and the patterns, as is like photographic technique has been used, so patterns can be very reproduced easily. Okay, and then the process is bar free. Okay, small bar, etc., it will be chemically it will be etched away. Okay, and so final products are produced in the similar manner as that of the prototype. Okay, and grain structure, hardness, etc., ductility of the metal, etc., these are generally not affected, it will not change it. Okay, but other metal sharing process, it can do that kind of problems. Okay, so with this we'll stop here for today. So we have completed the PCM process. So and similarly, okay, let me show another figure. So these are some of the structure that has been, these are some micro channels actually. Okay, so this is also the resolution you can see. Okay, so it's good. The sharp edges in these cases it was obtained. Okay, this was machined on copper. Okay, so you can see depending on how what is the quality of the photo tool, and what is the production of whatever is the UV exposure and development. Okay, based on that you can expect high quality throughput on this. Okay, so with this we'll stop here for today. If you have any question you can ask. I hope all of you have understood.
Understood,
Anything
sir.
else? Okay, then
Sir,
Understood.
yes, respond to your name first then. So Samim. Seems absent. Hitesh sir,
Yes, sir.
Vishwajit,
Yes, sir.
Catherine,
Yes, sir.
Tapas,
Yes, sir.
Shubham, absent. Shubham seems absent. He has just joined, I think. Andreas,
Yes, sir.
Ashish, Ashish,
Present, sir.
Sandeep,
Yes, sir.
Vishal,
Present, sir.
Shemham,
Present, sir.
Jodian, Jodian, seems absent. Sensing Dow, Sensing Dow, seems absent. Mario,
Present, sir.
Jaideep.
Yes, sir.
Okay, final call to Shubham. Okay, Shubham has just joined and he's not active. Okay, so thank you everyone for joining. So we'll end here.
Thank you, sir.